Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Streams of Income podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you are willing to give me some of your time to listen to either a business lesson or an interview with an amazing entrepreneur. So once again, thank you for listening to the Streams of Income podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. All right, folks, we are here with Cliff Nonnenmacher, and be sure you pronounce that right. And, you know, one cool thing about names that might be a little hard for people to pronounce is they seldom forget them. They'll mispronounce it, and the important thing, though, is if they remember you. Because a lot of times I'll do conferences and stuff, and everybody looks like just the same. But I stick out because I just stick out. So I love people with names that are spelled different, said different. And so... Cliff, we're here because, several things. I got a whole list of things I want to talk about, but franchising being the big one. But I'll tell you what, before we get to talking about franchises, how about we build up some of your early life? Because I was reading your bio that was sent over to me, and, man, a big industry that you hit a couple of decades too early.
Yeah.
We're talking about the food delivery. I mean, that was, I read that, and I'm thinking, man, if he had hit that just a year or two before DoorDash, you'd be a quadrillionaire or whatever the term is.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if I was ever even smart enough to do something like that. But if technology existed in 1990s that would allow you to create an app, I was decades early delivering food for restaurants that didn't deliver. I mean, that was an absolute value proposition at that time. It was. Domino's Pizza owned the QSR space, the quick service restaurant space, the pizza food delivery space because of one value prop. We deliver 30 minutes or less, guaranteed to your front door. When I got in the business, nobody cared about Domino's. They changed ownership multiple times when I was delivering food in the island because nobody cared. It's no longer special. This is the issue everyone's dealing with right now, if you think about it. Jimmy John's, we deliver speedy fast. Nobody cares. Everybody delivers speedy fast. Everyone delivers. It's no longer a value proposition. Brands need to evolve because if your unique selling proposition is we deliver, well, guess what? Everyone delivers. I mean, you need to do more. You need to do better than just say we deliver. And that's where Jimmy John's is closing locations. That's where Domino's Pizza realized that we do sell crappy pizza. We need to revamp the entire ingredient list. And they did. They redid everything from the base to the sauce to everything. But yes, I was delivering food for 16 restaurants, a auto parts store, and a pharmacy in 1991, right out of high school.
Yeah, man. And the weird thing is, I mean, you know how sometimes technology or robotics, AI, it'll change factories, manufacture everything, but then you always have people that go back to the old school way and they charge a premium for it because it's old school. I mean, we'll hop in the car and drive to Little Caesars to get pizza that's the same quality as Domino's for the most part and a heck of a lot cheaper just to avoid the delivery charge.
That's right.
I'm sure we're not coming out on the money, but I mean, you had something going there. I mean, I'm picturing you in Florida, like just being a New York bike courier kind of a thing going on. Were you that young or was it car delivery?
I was. No, I was right out of high school. I skipped college. I went straight to my entrepreneurial journey and my first real business. You know, I auto detailed cars. I did all your random stuff. I started at 8 years old. I used to rake golf balls out of country clubs and sell the golf balls back to the golfers at the entrances. So I've been doing this since I was 8. So I've been entrepreneurial my whole life. I agree with your show. I agree with creating ancillary income streams, right? So I completely subscribe to the lifestyle that you're building and what you teach. I think it's important to have, more than one leg on the stool. You're adding like 5, 6, 10. It's important to do that. I agree with that. And I don't think enough people put emphasis on, I have a job. Great. what other income streams have you created over it's a half of a century. These people are 50 years old. You've been here a half a century. Like, what have you done in a half of a century to create second leg? You don't have a second leg on the stool of income. No, I haven't done anything yet. So I think it's really important that a lot of people dig in and say, okay, there's no more pensions. I'm on my own. I want to retire uncompromised. How am I going to do it? I need additional income streams. So
absolutely.
Super important.
Did you say you skipped college?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, tell us about that, because I went to college. I've got more degrees than I needed, but my big thing now is trying to get my kids to avoid college unless it's absolutely necessary for the profession they feel called to. So how do you feel about that? Why did you skip college, and how did that affect you?
So first of all, I respect anyone that went to college. It's not like I look down on it. It's not like that. I felt I was in FBLA in high school. I was in DECA, and I was listening to teachers that honestly had not a clue what they were talking about. So I said, okay, wait, like how could college be really that much different? I'm listening to people who are saying, do as I say, not as I've ever done. It's like you've never done.
MBA instructors that have never started a business.
Right. So I just look at these things and say, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. Plus, I'm really I'm not a student. I'm self-taught. I'm self-read. I subscribe to Goodwill Hunting. While everyone's spending $100,000 in student loan debt, I got an MBA for $1.50 in late fees at the local library. Right. Yeah. I mean, just read. And today with podcasting, I could listen to the smartest people on the planet. I could just troll Elon Musk for days and just consume all of his content. Everything that he's saying, everything that he's teaching, everything that he believes in. I could follow anti-aging people. I could follow the smartest people in every facet of life today. So if I skipped college in 1990, I would absolutely skip it today.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm serious. I mean, number one, college is not the same as it was in 1990.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an indoctrination machine. It's really, they're not educating, they're indoctrinating. Yeah. And
we homeschool our kids, and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of what we do in homeschool. I mean, my 14-year-old is doing college work right now, and it's amazing how you can get around that, or going into the trades. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about some of that with the franchising, how the trades are exploding. And of course, franchising might be a way to kind of stay on the admin side of that, even though you don't even have to learn the trade. But
you talk about college.
Not against college for a profession, but in general, yeah.
You talk about college, like if we just said like what would be the highest level of college if you define college, right? You have like gender studies on the bottom, like liberal arts, right? If you just said the bottom, so what would be defined as the top? Let's call it medical. Is that fair? Okay, let's just say medical is the top if you were to go to college. You just had the richest man in the world on a podcast say to the world, if you went to medical school today, it would be pointless. Think about that. Unpack that. Yeah. He basically said in the next 4 to 5 years, his Optimus humanoids will be better than the best surgeon on the planet, and it will be smarter than the smartest doctor on the planet. Think about that. And for $20,000, Dr. David, you would own one in your household, and you would consult with it for health-related issues for $20,000. People have no idea what is about to happen in the next 5 years.
Oh, yeah. And this coming in a day and age when we all fuss about our doctors won't listen to us. I mean, myself, I pre-prepare. I get ready before I go to the doctor, though. I research things. I go to them with websites and research and things and then they'll confirm it and then say the same thing I did. But all of a sudden coming from them, it's from the heights of wisdom,
That's right.
Right. Man, we've gotten off on a tangent here, but I like it. We seem to be on the same viewpoint with a lot of things.
Definitely.
So let's see. All right, real quick, because I'm going to end up talking to you about a ton of stuff and forget. What's the best way you want people to get in touch with you?
I think just visit my website, franocity.com. That's FRANOCITY.com. If they go on that site, they could see a multitude of areas where they could contact me directly.
Okay, and I'll put that in the show notes too. And you got a book as well. Looking at the title here, or actually it's right behind you, Beyond the Brand. All about franchising.
Yeah, the book's performing great. We were #1 bestseller on Amazon. Today we're ranked #8 out of 500,000 books on Amazon.
Yeah.
Reviews are phenomenal. It's a real book. Like, people write books and it's fluff and it's acronyms and it's quotes and it's nonsense and there's nothing actionable and it's clear as mud, and you're like, and it's plagiarized and it's taken out of context. It's like, I read a lot of books and it's like, man, like, what is this? This is just a bunch of jargon. Like, I really don't have an actionable takeaway. Our book gets down in the granularity of what we do, how to think, even overcoming fear, negotiating commercial leases, how to protect you from a personal guarantee risk. Should you be doing this at all? Like, everything's always do it, jump in, go for it, crush it. No, time out. This may not be right for you. You may not have the intestinal fortitude to do this. Slow down, introspective self. Should you be doing this? Do you have the risk tolerance? Do you have the liquidity? Do you have the bandwidth? Do you have a full-time job? So it really thought-provokes people. The reviews and the feedback we're getting on the book, I'm actually very, very pleased with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a good point, though. I mean, buy your book, listen to your podcast. That's like the starter. I mean, people should investigate it a little bit just to see if it's even an option. And honestly, if they buy the book, listen to the podcast, they haven't lost any money. They've at least gained some wisdom in what they might need to just say no to. But
Exactly.
no, I get what you're saying about the books, too, because that's my beef with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's great if you want to read a story and maybe change a mindset if you don't have that mindset, but there's nothing actionable there. It's all just kind of a story. And I like both. I like the book also, like yours, that it's going to sit there and really make me do something or make some decisions.
That's right. Exactly.
So, all right, most of my audience is parentpreneurs. So just moms and dads that kids are, let's say middle school or older, usually a lot of times for my demographic. And they've realized, what, I'm on this hamster wheel. I'm stuck. And I want to escape W-2 or something and spend more time with the kids, be able to go watch them play sports. So franchising seems to be a pretty good option for people that aren't necessarily pure entrepreneur, like want to start something up, be their own boss, not have, like, create their own systems, that kind of thing. Franchising takes a lot of those hurdles away, right?
That's right. I totally agree with that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You don't, we always refer to Elon, right? You don't need to be Elon. You don't need to invent anything. You don't have to be Steve Jobs. You don't have to be a visionary pioneer and come up with a new disruptive technology. What you need is the desire to want to be successful, have financial freedom, live your life your own way, get off the hamster wheel, to your point, right? Get out of corporate America and the political nonsense of it. I mean, it's really, there's like a PR problem right now in corporate America, and the next generation wants nothing to do with it. They really don't. They're looking at their parents saying, I don't want anything to do with that life that you're living. I want nothing to do with it. Corner office, cubicle, 9 to 5, asking a 26-year-old mom, you're like 45, you're asking a 20-year-old if you could go on vacation for a week. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? It's like you're making six figures, but you have to request a day off. Like, if you look at the culture of corporate America, and it really does need to be kind of revamped. And a lot of people are just rejecting it and saying, I got to go out on my own and do my own thing and build my own ballpark and create my own culture. And that's what I see in franchising. So yes, the average person can, let's just say with a 5-10 year corporate background, can enter franchising and start investigating brands that they know nothing about. And that's the key. And this is where a lot of people misstep. They're like, well, I know medical. I'm a nurse. I know medical. Therefore, I'll only look at medical brands. Why? Why limit yourself like that? What are you, an actor? Like, you can only do comedy? You can only do a nursing gig? That's it? That's as good as it gets for you? You can't own an urgent care center? Like, why can't you own an urgent care center? Well, I'm not a doctor. You don't have to be a doctor. You and I can own an urgent care center and never speak to a patient. That's the beauty of franchising. And that's the example I like to give people to exaggerate my point. I am not a doctor. I will probably never be a doctor. I'll never have a degree in medicine, right? But I could own an urgent care center in my town right now as a franchisee, and I will employ physicians and properly licensed individuals to interact with patients and prescribe and so on. That's the power of franchising. There's no limit. None. There's no glass ceiling. There's no restriction. But remember, when you have an employee mindset and you're an RN in that example, you're only looking for RN jobs because you're an employee. Exactly. That's your mindset. You wouldn't dare apply for a job outside of the scope of what an RN does. You wouldn't dare do it. You'd almost feel like imposter syndrome, or I'll never get that job. Why would they ever consider me? I'm an RN. Why would I apply for a steam fitting job? Or right? Or so, like, why would someone do that? And the reality is, number one, you could, and in franchising, you absolutely can. What's crazy, to flip the script a little bit so you really, and the audience really understands, just listen to this. This happens once a week. Once a week, I will get a hairstylist that will call me. I want to own a Supercuts or a Great Clips or a barbershop, okay? Tell me more. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm the best hairstylist in my town in New Hampshire. Okay, I have to tell them that the brands don't even want to speak to her. Think about that. She's like, you don't understand. I have 30 years of experience. I'm the best in the business. That's the problem. You actually enjoy cutting hair. That's an employee. That is not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's an hourly thing.
Thank you. Supercuts, Great Clips, barbershops, they're looking for people that want to scale hair cutting businesses. They don't want you standing on your feet all day with scissors in your hand. That's the mindset
if you're good
shift.
at what you do, why would you want a Great Clips? I mean, I've taken my kids to Great Clips, and it's a factory setup.
Yeah. Look, there's a place for everyone, right? It's like there's a place for everyone. As they say, there's a seat for every ass, right? There's a place for everybody.
Yep. And there's got to be some satisfaction too. Let's say you open an urgent care and you maybe have some loans to open it, that kind of thing, but there's got to be some satisfaction in knowing that possibly the loans you got to employ these doctors is less than what they owe in med school loans.
Totally. It's crazy when you unpack that and what they're
and
dealing
doctor or
with.
not, they'll always be an employee.
That exactly. Yeah, you have $250,000 in student loan debt, and you're working, and I don't fault them for doing it, because a lot of them are like, look, I became a doctor because I genuinely want to help people, but I don't want to be a business owner. I don't want to manage these people, and that's the issue. And that's where everyone always says doctors, don't make great business owners, and it's like, well, they never wanted to be business owners. The system, right? They never really wanted to be entrepreneurs. They wanted to be physicians. They wanted to be surgeons. They wanted to help people, in medicine, and they found themselves managing, insurance to the right of a decimal point. They found themselves, you know what I mean? It's like, wait a second, why am I dealing with malpractice insurance? I just want to practice medicine. It's like, no, you better know your numerical accountabilities of your business. So a lot of them do prefer to be employees and not have to deal with it.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I got a question for you. All right, so I let off a minute ago with buy your book, start listening to the podcast. So let's say they do that and they decide, okay, this is worth checking out. And we're talking a mom or dad that is in a full-time job. What would be like a transition path towards franchising? Like, what should they do after that?
So let's just say that a client engages with us. First of all, our services are free. I think it's important to mention. We do not charge for our services. We're paid similarly to a realtor or a headhunter. We're paid by the seller.
That's a big plus.
So it's a huge plus because the listener, the client, has no risk. It's riskless because they don't sign anything. I tell everyone, you are not buying a franchise. If you're working with us, you're investigating franchising as one of many investment vehicles that you can put your money into. This is just one of many. Is it right for you? Right? Do you have spousal support? Are you in the right mindset to do this? Do you have the risk tolerance to do this? Like, what are your income needs? Are you going to keep your career? Are you quitting immediately and fully immersing yourself in the business? Today, most people want to be what I call half pregnant. They want to keep their career and they want to dabble in self-employment. That's a unique brand. It's a unique brand that realistically can operate properly with that setup where someone's keeping their full-time career. So we're looking for bandwidth now. Do you have bandwidth during the day? Do you work from home? Are you trapped in an office? Right? If they're trapped in an office, I basically tell them, don't do it. Like, don't even think about it. Just move on. Do something else. But when they engage with us, we'll understand investment objectives, what they're willing to invest, what they need to earn, where are they? What are the demographics of the community that they operate in, right? Demographics, psychographics, discretionary spending, household income. We want to understand where are you and where do you want to operate this business? Is it a rural community, 6,000 population, right? Or is it just a densely populated market? Like, where are you in America? What does that market look like? And what would work best? And then, of course, we go through an initial consultation, and then we present brands, a minimum of 5 at a time, where we present ideas to them that fit exactly what they're trying to do. And then we spend 3 months of just due diligence. Yeah. So one thing clients will learn when they're working with us, we don't rush, we pump the brakes. We spend a minimum of 3 months just closing the loop on due diligence, researching the brands that we have an interest in.
Yeah. Oh, man, in terms of education, right there, 3 months of time and experience, that's a college course in franchising right there.
Boom. Exactly.
And they know more than most of the professors.
That's right. We are very disciplined investors. I always tell my clients, I want you to be unreasonably selective as to what brand you go with. Be unreasonably selective. This is a huge investment. You could misstep very easily. Be unreasonable. Does it check every box? No, it checks 2. All right, are those 2 boxes heavily overweighted? No. They're my low weightings. Out. We have a decision-making matrix. It's actually in the book, and we give it to them when we work with them in a spreadsheet where they could just plug in some data and be like, look, this brand does not meet my criteria based on my weighting. Right? My weighting of risk, my weighting of ROI, my weighting of recession resilience, my weighting of, has this brand weathered the housing crisis? No. Has this brand weathered COVID? No. It's a shiny new penny. I'm out. I don't recommend brands that were born in the best of times. I recommend brands that have a proven history of weathering economic cycles from the housing crisis through a recession, through COVID, and came out the other side clean. That's being disciplined.
Yeah. Hey, and I know probably the most popular franchises, because people tend to zero in on what they know. The restaurants, the big ones, Great Clips, stuff like that. What are some of your favorite franchises, if you can name them, but if not, just at least the industries, some of your favorites?
Yeah. Great question. It's not a matter of naming them. It's more a matter of, as like a Warren Buffett would say, are you a top-down or a bottom-up approach to investing? Are we going to start with the industry and work our way down to the brand? Right? So I like to start with the industry. It's like, what is trending? There are 5 things that are trending. Again, it's all in our book. Number 1 is the feminization of men in America. What does that mean? It means that we feminize men to the point that they can no longer use tools. They're no longer self-sufficient. The battle axes and whatever you have behind you, foreign to most men, would be intimidated to pick it up, right? They did a study in college that college boys, men, call them what you want, are intimidated when the plumber or the janitor or the maintenance man enters their dorm to repair something. They're intimidated by his presence. Yes, you can look it up. It was a study done. They're literally intimidated by it. It's like, you could do so, like, you're pretty manly. You could do things that I can't do. Like, why couldn't I fix that? You came in here with a tool belt, a screwdriver, and a drill, and within 10 minutes, you're like, I got my heat back? Yeah, because you don't know how to do anything, because nobody taught you. It's magic. Yeah, it's magic, exactly. HVAC is magic. Plumbing is magic. Electrical is magic. It's wild. So, but I want to continue with that theme. Under the feminization of men includes testosterone therapy. It includes ED therapy. It includes a whole slew of things related to men's health. We've not only feminized them to the point that they can't use tools, they also have 50% of the sperm count they had a decade ago. Think about that.
Yeah. You had both, and it's not just decreasing with age, it's dropping for every reason.
100%. Testosterone and sperm count are plummeting in the Western world. I find it fascinating that you're introducing socialism and weakening men at the same time. That's not a coincidence. Moving on.
It goes back to that old quote about, hard times create hard men, soft times create, and then cycles around.
Exactly. Difficult times create hard men. Exactly. Strong men. And good times create weak men. It's true. If we don't see adversity, it doesn't really harden us and give us the ability to fight, to be resourceful, to think critically. Today, they all think catastrophically. That's all they do is just think catastrophically. Like, my life sucks. It's over for me. I'll never get married. I'll never have. That's their whole loop. It's just negative doom loop of catastrophic thinking. And you're right. And that's why people are homeschooling. They want their kids to think critically, challenge the status quo. Don't listen to the lab coat. Think for yourself. That doesn't seem right, right? Test drug. It's a test. Do you want to be part of the test? It is an unproven vaccination. Do you want to be part? Like all these things, people need to start thinking for themselves, and the schools are designed to take that away from you, to take creativity away from you. So next category. So the feminization of men, you understand. Any business requiring the use of tools, you have the furthest distance from AI, robotics, humanoid disruption. Furthest distance. Hand dexterity, furthest distance from humanoid disruption. They don't have the hand dexterity yet. They also don't have a society that has embraced the humanoid in a self-driving car to pull up in the front of your house or your listener's home and fix your HVAC system. We haven't embraced that yet. So again, anything involving tools, feet on the street, home services, furthest distance from disruption. You could become the disruptor instead of the disrupted. Category number 2, this country is aging rapidly. In the next 10 years, we will be a super age nation, which means 20% of your population is over 65. That should scare the shit out of anybody listening, because you can't have an aging, strong population. I had a guy in my show, listen to this, Dr. David. I had a guy in my show, and he asked me, do you know the average age of a caregiver? I'm like, a caregiver? That means youth. Our youth care for the elderly. He's like, what do you think it is? And I'm like, I don't know, like 30. He goes, 30? I go, what is it? 60.
Wow.
I go, timeout. The average age of a caregiver in America is 60? Yes. We are dispatching in the home care industry, average age of 60 to care for an 80-year-old. Think about that.
Wow.
It is seniors caring for seniors. That's the country we live in. We're now Japan. We're becoming Italy. We're becoming super aged. We're not repopulating. The category is the silver tsunami. That's what it's categorized in our book. Yeah. So you have feminization of men. You have the silver tsunami. How do I make money and create an amazing legacy, by the way, in the silver tsunami? It could be home care. It could be mobility. It could be building ramps, installing grab bars. It could be doing in-home aging in place assessments. There's so much to unpack with that as it relates to the silver tsunami. Category number 3 is going to be the humanization of pets and animals. $150 billion market in the United States. Wow. We're not repopulating, we buy dogs. We're not repopulating, we buy cats, we buy ferrets, we buy animals. Our children are not having children. They're like, I could never do this. I could barely survive on my own. How am I having a child? Plus, everything that we just said, sperm, testosterone, these kids can't have kids anyway. You know,
their cell phones in their pockets all day long.
They're not even dating properly. They can't maintain a relationship with another human being properly. They can't impregnate someone properly. This is not my opinion. Both sides of the aisle have discussed IVF in the last election. It's a real issue. IVF is a real issue. Our kids can't have children, right? Next category is going to be what we call the pursuit of youth. Right? Because we're aging, people want Botox, they want NACs, they want peptides, they want stem cells, they want their knees to regenerate, they want to be active, they want to feel beautiful, sexy, attractive, and youthful. The pursuit of youth is huge. All you got to do is turn on a podcast with Huberman, Attia, Osprey. I mean, you could do this all day long. Yeah. It's all about biohacking. Some of my favorites too. Yeah. I mean, these guys are talking about anti-aging biohacking every day. Yeah. I spoke to a very smart person yesterday. His attitude is we're headed with AI, supercomputing, we're headed towards immortality for the rich. I'm like, really? So what he was explaining to me was wild. Right. And then lastly, which you'll agree to, my opinion is public schools have failed miserably. They have failed our culture, our nation. They have failed our children miserably. These kids know nothing. I mean, they come out. I have a family member who can't read script. So we have an elderly parent writing Christmas cards and birthday cards in script, and the kid can't even read it. Can you imagine? It's a foreign language. It's exactly. It's like writing in a foreign. It's just certain things like analog watches. They can't tell time. Like just certain things. So youth enrichment, parents want it. They want it for their children. Those 5 categories are powerful. Feminization of men, invest in tools, the silver tsunami, invest in our aging population, right? The pursuit of youth, anti-aging biohacking. You have the humanization of pets and animals, and then you have the category of youth enrichment. That right there,
and that's pretty amazing because there are riches in those categories, and none of what you named was a hotel or a restaurant or a hair salon. I mean, people need to change their thinking over there because that money, I mean, the money's already there, but in the next 10, 20 years, that money is going to be crazy.
Exactly. You'd be surprised at some of the revenue numbers. Less than 6% of companies in America will ever do $1 million in their lifetime in top line revenue. I could show you brands with written earnings claims of over $1 million all day long.
Yeah. Now you've worked with some of the biggest brands. I mean, I was reading your thing, and I've given money to some of the brands you've worked with as far as franchising, but probably quite a few. I mean, at Carter's World, the thing mentioned Four Seasons. They used to be a competitor of my dad. He started a remodeling business, and he used to compete with them. And so, I mean, there's a lot that is hard to compete with in the franchise model as a small business owner because of the systems, the employees, and he would lose employees to places like that because of systems sometimes.
That's right. I mean, you look at like CertaPro Painter, right? Let's just break it down to something simple. Low barrier to entry businesses like painting. You get a van, you get a ladder, you get a white outfit, and you buy a paintbrush. No, really, right? I'm just simplifying it. It's what we would refer to as a low barrier to entry business to get into. A handyman, very low barrier. You just walk into it. Van, ladder, tool belt, and some basic skills. I'll call myself a handyman. You look at let's go back to CertaPro Painter. There's probably 500 plus locations in the United States. The average revenue is 2.1 million. 2.1 million. Now, if you lined up on your show independent painting companies, none of them are hitting that number. None of them.
They're making 30, 40 grand a year and working 60 hours a week. And when they get home from painting a house, they're doing the books for the business.
Exactly right. That's the difference between franchising as a methodology to scale a business, create wealth. And by the way, if you spoke to all of the CertaPro Painter owners, none of them have ever held a brush in their hand. They're not painting. That's the key. That is the E-Myth by Michael Gerber, the book, the E-Myth, the Entrepreneur's Myth. It is a great book, and it reshapes your thinking. If you're thinking about buying a painting franchise, don't ever envision yourself holding a paintbrush in your hand. That is a total failure. You're not actually running anything. You're working in your business, not on your business. Yeah.
I mean, that's been the biggest hurdle with my dad, seeing him through the years. And I used to work in the business when I was younger, and he is the business. We tried to sell it at one point and couldn't sell it because nobody wanted to buy an 80-hour-a-week job and call themselves an owner and take less money home than the installers.
I'm not insulting your dad because I have a ton of respect for entrepreneurs, but what you just said is a huge problem. I had a woman on my show as well. She specialized in exits for small businesses. Yeah. And she said to me, she goes, do you know, she goes, Cliff, have you ever been on bizbuysell.com? I'm like, oh, all the time. She goes, there's thousands of businesses on there. She goes, do you know what percentage of those businesses will never find a buyer? I mean, I didn't really know what that number would be. She goes, 85%.
Wow.
Because of what you just said.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. No one wants to buy your dad's job. No one.
I had it listed on Biz Buy Sell for years.
Did you? Yeah. And you're part of the statistic. Listen to this, right? So your part, did it ever sell?
No. And it still hasn't sold.
So you're part of that you're in that 85. So I'm like, so what do you do? She goes, I work with business owners for like, let's say the prior 3 to 5 years from the exit and prepare that business for the exit. Yeah. Make it sexy, get the P&Ls tight, the balance sheet tight, make sure that the owner is not part of the day-to-day operation, make sure that the owner has been replaced by a lead tech that the new owner can inherit and manage, the manager. Yeah, because when you model your dad's business, the problem is simple. When you model your dad's business, say, okay, I'm going to buy your dad's business. And it's like, if I replace your dad, I go net negative on this business. Exactly. If you hire a painter or whatever, a handyman, to replace your father, it's like this business just goes net negative. Like it's not worth anything. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And it's almost easier and cheaper to start your own business, to go buy the truck and the ladder and the tools.
Crazy to think that, because he does have a book of business. He does have a Rolodex, right?
Yeah.
He does have client, right? He does have a lot of existing clients. That goodwill has to be worth something.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about the E-Myth book is kind of the idea. And to be honest with you, I read that book because I was trying to help my dad sell his business. And everything he was telling me went opposite of what had happened, because like building a business with the intention of selling it someday. And most entrepreneurs, small business people, they don't think about that from the start. They think about it too late.
I've exited every business I've ever owned. Every business I've exited. Even my smallest businesses I've exited. Right, I the concept of my life's work not being able to be monetized in the exit just flies in my face.
Yeah,
I've done all this work, because that's the insult to a job. What did you do? Oh, I worked for this company, GE, for 30 years. You get a pension? No, but I got a really good 401k. Did you sell your position when you left after 30 years and making them a couple $100 million? Oh no, but they gave me this watch. You know, it's like. You know what I mean? It's like 30 years of your life. By the way, corporate America takes the best years of your life. The best years of your life they take.
Yeah.
And
you come out with a watch and a bunch of heart medications from the stress.
Yeah. And a 401k that people don't realize that if there's $1 million in there, 30 cents in the dollar doesn't belong to you anyway. And they're like, wait, time out. Wait a minute, I have $1 million. No, you don't have $1 million. That's tax deferred. Take $1 out, you'll end up with 70 cents. If you live in a high state income tax, you'll end up with 60 cents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Effed up.
Yep.
Effed up.
So we've talked about starting a franchise and all that. So with the exit stuff in mind, can you tell me, because I would imagine it's incredibly easy to exit a franchise, like it's built into the model. I'm just assuming that. So correct me or whatever you need to there.
Right. No, totally. If you build the franchise the way the system was designed and the way they were taught when they entered, right? No, a lot of people don't follow instruction, so they do it their way, right? So they're not going to have liquidity and they're not going to have an exit event. But if you actually build it with the end in mind, which is I'm buying a franchise, I do not want it to rely on my day-to-day attention. I don't want to be an employee within my own entity. I don't want to drive the truck. I don't want to fix appliances. You know, that's your exit. I had a guy in my show. He was a 2-time national pool champion. Okay. Great guy, Rob. 17 years of experience repairing appliances. This guy could have gone out on his own. He didn't need a franchise. He could have gone out on his own, but he was uncomfortable and he wanted the idea of support, lead generation, and et cetera, and a brand to be proud of. Like, I'm a nationally recognized brand. So the brand tells him, day one, here's our concern with you. You actually like repairing appliances. You're conditioned to drive the van. You need to stop doing it. Oh, okay. Doesn't listen, goes out in the field, drives the van, repairs appliances. Fast forward, marriage is on the rocks. Total disaster. He's about to file for bankruptcy. Goes back to the brand. What do? I'm failing. Marriage is on the rocks. I screwed up. What do I do? The brand says to him, the same thing we told you when we met you and the same thing we've been telling you for the last year. Stop driving the van, stop fixing appliances, and start building the infrastructure of your team. It's a true story, all recorded on my podcast. Today, this guy finally listened, right? There's people won't change unless there's a significant emotional event, losing all of your money and losing your spouse. So he entered the phase of significant emotional event. That's what creates change. He went back home, built his team. That guy does $5 million today. $5 million. Yeah. He's the number one franchisee in the system. He went from losing marriage, going bankrupt, to the number one franchise in the system by making one critical change. Stop driving the van and stop working inside your business. Work on it, not in it. And that's what the E-Myth educates people on. Crazy stories. So I love that, because it's those anecdotal stories that really reshape people's thinking. And they're like, I get it. I totally get it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. I tell you what, as we get ready to kind of wind things down, I always like to ask everybody if you could recommend like top 3 resources. It doesn't just have to be business, but books, podcasts, anything like that. Top 3 resources for somebody to be successful in life. What would that be?
Man, in life. Okay. I mean, look, you have to be well read and you have to listen to podcasts. I think if people have a lot of windshield time at work, there's so many shows. If you want to be, a lot of times people want to do things, but you got to get your mindset straightened out. Like you look at like Dr. Joe Dispenza, like if you just immersed yourself in Dispenza and got your mindset
Me
right.
and you are reading the same books and listening to the same people. I've got his book over here on my shelf.
Think about that. Like a lot of people just want to leapfrog and they want to go straight to the entrepreneurial podcast. No, you got to get your head straightened out first. You have head trash. You're in your own way. Get your mindset straightened out. Understand fear. Understand your amygdala. Understand that your brain is wired for survival, not success. That's why you can't take that step to become an entrepreneur because you're fearful, right? So mindset, Dispenza is one of my favorite. Eckhart Tolle is one of my favorite. I don't know if you ever watch Tolle. He does amazing writing on fear and overcoming fear. I don't think anyone has taken a dive as deep as Eckhart when it comes to fear. And it's it's, by the way, fear has killed more dreams than failure ever has. It's why most people will be perpetual listeners and never take action in anything. It's fear will paralyze them from doing it. I'm a huge fan of Law of Attraction. I'm a huge fan of The Secret. I read and watch the movie The Secret often just to kind of refresh, because thoughts become things, and what you think about, you bring about. And a lot of people don't understand that. What you think about, you bring about. If you're going to doom scroll in your brain, you're just going to attract more negativity. If you're going to start to see your life in a much better place on a cruise ship, or you're going to see your life in a place of abundance, you're actually going to start attracting abundance. And people don't realize how deceptively simple it is to just think positively and attract abundance in your life. They don't get that.
Hey, I got a question for you. That on The Secret, have you watched the not the documentary version, but the movie with Katie Holmes in it?
Oh no, not the one on Netflix with Katie Holmes. Is it worth
it was
watching?
Pretty good. I've rewatched it.
Okay.
It takes everything from the book and puts it in a movie, almost like reading a business fable.
Okay.
Like Who Moved My Cheese or something. So it kind of puts the story into a movie version. It's actually pretty good.
I'll watch it. I don't want when they Hollywoodize things. I didn't want them to ruin something. So I wasn't sure if they were going to ruin it or if they were going to enhance it and reinforce the messaging. With that said, because I know you know what you're talking about, I'll watch it.
Yeah. And back on Dispenza too, my absolute favorite way to listen to him. He's been on the School of Greatness podcast a bunch of times. And to listen to him and Lewis, so you've got the ultra successful business guy and then Dispenza going back and forth, pretty amazing because it brings it all very, very practical.
Yeah, even health. Like, look at Huberman. Look what he's teaching. Like, just getting your health straightened out so that you can be sharp and have the energy and you can think through these issues that you're dealing with. Yeah. Entrepreneurship is not for the meek of heart. Like, if you're going to become self-employed and you have children and you have a spouse and you have mortgages and you have life and you have kids going to college, you have to have your mindset straightened out. Everyone skips that step. You can't skip it. And your health, you got to take care of yourself. You got to be healthy. You got to have a sharp mind. Your brain has to be on point.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's no point in living long if it's a life filled with dementia and Alzheimer's and from taking statins all these years or whatever the cause is.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, man. And Attia, you mentioned Attia earlier. I think he's the one that I've heard him on the Tim Ferriss show talking about the workouts he does now primarily are geared toward me being fit when I'm 90. Like he's not lifting heavy as much. He's doing things that are more for mobility and
that's right.
I'm going to live forever and I'm going to play with my great grandkids and toss the ball with them.
That's right. With his CO2 and your absorption and grip strength. He has a leading indicator of longevity, which is actually grip strength, which I find interesting. Right? Can you hang on a bar for 2.5 minutes?
Yep.
Like everyone listening,
and that directly
go hang on a bar.
Can you carry the groceries into the house when you're 90 years old?
My mother yesterday said to me, when you come over, I need you to get the cases of water out of the back of the car. I can no longer do it. It's exactly. I can no longer do it. That's where we end up. Yep. We don't age gracefully, and the golden years are not golden for many of us. And I want to flip that script. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved in anything pharma. I will fight like hell to reverse whatever I'm doing to ever be on a statin, a blood pressure medication. That's another joke, right? Yeah, you could do this all day long. Back in the, I go to ChatGPT and go, you're a doctor in the 1980s, like before everything got really corrupt. What should my mother's blood pressure be? My mother's blood pressure in 1980 is exactly where it should be right now. But under today's standard, oh no, you got to be on heart medication. Yeah. You got to go on this, and she's on multiple drugs under today's modern medicine methodology. But in 1980, they wouldn't have medicated her. They'd be like, you're exactly where you should be as an 80-year-old female. You're exactly where you need to be. So, they make sure everyone gets on drugs. Go ahead.
We were talking about BMIs and all that. And I mean, like me, I'm morbidly obese on the BMI scale.
Right.
I mean, and you'd be obese on the BMI scale just because the insurance says you are.
That's right. It's like, how old are you? How tall are you? Yeah, you're no good. You're broken. You
got to pay twice as much.
But I got this for you. What is it? It's a GLP disruptor. It'll be really good for you. You might go blind, but it'll be really good for you.
Yeah.
The whole world's on semaglutides now.
We've talked about a ton of stuff. So just to recap for all the listeners or watchers, buy the book, listen to the podcast, and investigate franchising. If you want to be your own boss, but don't want to be the only person that's your boss, you need help with systems, support, leads, all that stuff, look into franchising. I definitely recommend that. And get healthy. I guess that would be the other theme of what we go. Get healthy and stay away from all the people trying to just shovel things down your throat.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any final words of wisdom for us, though?
No, I mean, I really appreciate you having me on. Appreciate the Notice Your Marines. Thank you for your service. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. I love getting people on that we go off on tangents. That's what I enjoy the most because, you stick with just the regular bio and everything, and it can get kind of stale, but I love it when I get people on and the tangents end up lining up with things that I agree with.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a disagreement, right? On air, it's like, wow, you really see the world that way? Like crazy.
Yeah. I had a realtor guy on the podcast here a while back, and as soon as we logged on, he looked at my background and he's like, so is this where we're going to do this?
Really?
Like, yeah, this is where we're going to do this.
Yeah, like cut. Right? Yeah.
Feminization of men.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If you're offended by the stars and stripes, if you're offended by these things, like we're just not a fit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had a franchisee. I had a franchisee ask me one time, can I remove the American flag from the store? It offends people. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
People listen, we're different. Things are changing.
Yeah. If people get offended by your $100 bill on the wall, that's...
Yeah. The answer was no on the American flag. The American flag stays. It was part of the decor of the interior of the store.
Yeah, I love that.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I'll put everything in the show notes if people want to get in touch with you, and I hope they do. I hope people sign up and make tons and tons of money with some of these industries you mentioned.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Oh, I know. I promised that was the end. But one last thing, and maybe this can benefit you as well. If you have any suggestions for someone you'd like to see on the podcast, feel free to send me their information or just their name. And if I like the idea, I'll try to look them up myself. But any suggestions, no matter how crazy, no matter how, well, especially if it's cool, well, crazy also, just send me your suggestions. And also, if you want to be on the podcast, get in touch with me. My email, all my contact info is in the show notes. Also, if you don't want to look at the show notes or you're in your car, maybe you shouldn't look at the show notes while you're driving. It's redteamgoals.com. You can get all my links and everything else there. So let me know your suggestions and tell me more about yourself if you'd like to be on the podcast as well. Thanks again for listening.